Okay, let's get started today. I think we have a few more people that are probably going to come in as we speak, but that's okay. So good afternoon and welcome to the Rails Online Roundtable. Today's event is the Promoting Titles Virtually for Schools. My name is Dan Bostrom. I'm the Rails Member Engagement Manager. Very excited for this event. We have Patti Fleser from the Deer Path Middle School with us. Okay, so here's what it's going to look like today. I'm going to do just a little bit of introductions and welcome. I've got some resources for you services folks because I think a lot of you are coming from that area. Then I'm going to turn it over to Patti. She's going to do a short presentation of some of the stuff that she does in her own school library. We'll do Q&A, and then we do have some discussion questions for you all. So we want to hear from you. What are you doing in this area? And then we'll come back and do a conclusion and wrap up. And I just want to say too, when when we first kind of came up with this idea for this program, one of the things that I really liked about this is there's so much creativity out there. You all, school librarians, are doing so many. I have so many creative approaches to solving the problems of just connecting with students with the titles that they need. So I'm really looking forward to that and seeing what you all are doing. Okay, just kind of a setup for today. When we do questions, when you do the Q&A, I didn't enable the Q&A box, so I'd appreciate it if you put the questions in there. That just kind of helps me track it as moderator. I know a lot of you have used the chat. That's fine too. Please use the chat for comments and things like that. That's fine. But if you do have questions for Patti, please put them in there. I've also enabled a feature where you can actually, as an attendee, you can answer questions that other people have. You can also upvote. So if you have an answer for a question that somebody's asking that you think might help them, please feel free to enter that into the Q&A, and that just helps everybody, I think. Okay. Just a couple things again that I was going to mention. Since this is a youth services focused event, I thought I'd suggest some other upcoming things. In 2 weeks, we have this program, Grab and Go library programs. And I'm thrilled about this one because we've recruited a great panel of presenters. I'm going to read some names for you. Ann Santori, early literacy specialist librarian at the Lincolnwood Public Library. Eddie Berland, youth and teen services librarian from the Lincolnwood Public Library. Robin Brenner, teen librarian, Public Library of Brookline in Massachusetts. Kelly Campos, youth programming librarian from the Homewood Public Library. And Andrea Trudeau, library information specialist from Shepherd Middle School. So a lot of great lineup of folks, great lineup of the panelists. They're all going to talk about how they engage their community through physical and virtual grab bags, take and make projects, DIY kits, all that kind of stuff. So this is Monday, February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. Program is open for registration now. You can find it on L2, and it will be offered via Zoom. So please do check that out. This is something that happened back in October, and I just kind of want to put it on your radar in case you missed it. April Lee from the Niles, Maine Public Library and Katie Salo from the Glenview Public Library were the presenters on this one. And they talked about best practices for story time. Not only do they cover some of the technology aspects of it, but they also talk about materials and ideas for crafts and things like that associated with story time. And I thought it was really a great offering. So this is available for anyone who has L2 credentials, and you can find it on the Rails website. It's a great one, so please do check it out. Finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this resource for school libraries. It's called ERead Illinois. And ERead Illinois is our very affordable ebook and audiobook subscription service. The platform is actually Access 360, in case you're not familiar with it. And currently, we have around 400 libraries participating, including 70 libraries that have joined since March. So this has been extremely popular recently for obvious reasons. We do all the support locally. We do all the training from our Burr Ridge office in the southwest suburbs. And we also received a $125,000 grant from the Illinois State Library to add titles to this collection. And we're specifically purchasing them for the K through 12 audience. So there's actually a form on the website, on the ERead website, where you can go and help us determine titles that you might want to see in the collection. It does require an L2 login. So if you go check that out, you'll have to log in order to access this. But we really need your help in that area. Okay, so this is the point where I'm actually going to turn it over to Patti. But before I do so, I do have a poll. So the poll is a question about how comfortable you feel using communication tools, some of the avenues for promoting library titles. And there are 5 potential answers: comfortable, very comfortable, comfortable, neutral, uncomfortable, and very uncomfortable. So I am launching this poll right now to see how you feel about using these communication tools in your own libraries, how you feel in your own in your own spaces. So I'll give you. Looks like half of us have answered, so I'll give you probably 20 more seconds. You're ticking up there. Okay, 85 of you have answered you. That's great. Okay, five more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. Interesting. A lot of you said comfortable. A lot of you said, yeah, you're comfortable using communication tools to promote these titles. Some said neutral. Actually, nobody very uncomfortable, which is fantastic. So wonderful. All right. So that kind of gives us a little bit of background. And I'm going to stop sharing the results there. Okay. Patti Fleser is the library media specialist from the Deer Path Middle School. She is here to present for us. Patti, I'm going to stop sharing, and you can share your screen whenever you're ready.
All right. All right, are we good? We can see it?
Yep, looks good.
All right, thanks. All right, everyone. So hi, good afternoon. I am Patti Fleser at Deer Path Middle School, and that's in Lake Forest, far north suburbs. I'm not sure where everyone's coming from, but far north suburbs. And you can see my email there and the virtual library I'm going to be using today, which is kind of going to drive everything that I talk about for a little while, is that bit.ly link. So please feel free to grab that bit.ly link, write it down or whatever, and then go ahead and open while we're also talking. First of all, any apologies. My library is also an egress, so there's an exit door, and we just finished school about 25 minutes ago, so people might be walking through, and I forgot to bring my earphones and microphone. So if if there's a little disturbance, then my apologies ahead of time. Just again, while I'm letting you go ahead and get to the virtual library that we're going to be talking about today. Just my situation is our middle school is a 5th through 8th grade middle school, though I work with the 5th and 6th graders. It's one large Destiny. We used to call it Destiny Library, but we sublocate. It's either the east side, which is my side, 5 and 6, or we have 7-8 library. Our situation right now in Lake Forest is we have been in school since probably the 3rd week of September, except for a little bit of time between Thanksgiving and winter break. We are a hybrid for those who have chosen to come to school. I would say maybe 15% of our kids stay home and learn remotely only. And we have separate teachers. Teachers are just teaching them. So we don't have teachers in the classroom that are teaching to kids at home and in their room. The kids who are hybrid, the majority of our kids, they're with us half a day. The other half a day, they're home doing online learning with their specials. So world language, phys ed, and their creative arts. And then our special ed students are with us all day. So Lake Forest has really done some great things so that we can get as many kids in the building as we can. And our classes are no larger than 12 right now, 12 in a room. That gives us our 6 feet of separation. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just go right to my library here. And I'm going to move my face. Here we go. And this is actually a picture of my library. This is the cube. The cube, it's about 8 years old now. Long story, it stands for C to the 3rd power, or cubed. And the C's are creativity, collaboration, and communication. So I decided to have some fun. I have been having way too much fun with Bitmojis lately. So this is me in all my wrinkled glory and everything. And I just wanted to use this to show you how I have been reaching out to my kids with virtually, because even though we are in school, they stay in their one classroom, the teachers go to them. and they are not allowed to come down to the library to browse for books. The books that you don't see right now, they're like all behind us. It's like all the books are behind where we're looking from. So they can't browse. So when in the spring and the summer, Bitmoji classroom started becoming a thing, I decided to play around. And the first thing I did was I went ahead and I played with the Coddles. And so you'll see in my library, and I'll pop back there for you, as you roll over things, eventually you will see that these are links. Everything is a link. And so I just started playing around with the Coddles, because sometimes, I tell my kids, you absolutely do judge a book by its cover. And so first of all, they see covers, and then I just started playing around and linking them to something. In this case, I was able to find a SoundCloud of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar reading his book. Or maybe I will find, if I could find a SoundCloud, or if I could find the first chapter, I would link it. And this gives the kids that option to browse or to hear a little bit more than just looking on Destiny, which, boy, has this pandemic been a plus in that my kids are actually using Destiny and putting things on hold. So I'm super thrilled with that. So that's just where I started with playing with the Coddles. Now, something to let you know, because you guys all have the link to this, I created this as a preview. So you have my utmost permission to copy and change and do what you want. If you come down, just let me show you how to do that. If you come down to the little gear at the bottom, and then you open editor, it's going to take you to my view only, which is just a Google slide. And now at this point, well, it doesn't show view only on mine because it's mine. But at this point, you can go to file and you can make a copy, and then you can start playing with it yourself. So I just wanted you guys to see that. Let's see. Let me come on back here. All righty. So that was the Coddle nominees. Let me go back here then to my roundtable. So then I got a bunch of new books in the fall, like 70, 80 new books, and the kids could not look at them. They couldn't see them. So I went ahead and down here, my little group of books. Okay, I had way too much fun with this virtual library. It took me far more time to create this than maybe it was worth. But we genreify here, and the kids are used to seeing things by genre. So I just went ahead and I just created, just found the books. In this case, as the kids clicked in on a book and found it, it took them directly to our Follett library in Destiny Discover specifically, and it would take them right to the book. And I have taught them how to hold a book. Through videos, through sometimes we use Google Meet, so using Google Meet to meet with some of the classes, but I have taught them how to do that. And so this was a lot of fun. You can see I had way too much fun with my Bitmojis again. But the kids were able, once again, to browse a little bit, this time by genre. So then I got a little more adventurous. And I actually decided to create an activity for my ELA teachers. And so this is the best books of 2020. So I compiled that list of different places for best books. And the best books, the link up here would actually take you to a form. Because, sometimes we have kids come into the libraries and we put the books on the different tables, and they get so much time at each table to look at some books, and then they write down titles that they really like, and then they move to the next table. Well, we couldn't be in here. We don't have the tables. So the kids actually have a form where they can choose their homeroom teacher. They can write down books that they're interested in. But I started them each in a different room. And in this time, I combined the two things I did before. They could actually go to a link to get more information. In this case, they can read the actual first chapter. And then down below, I just created another link that then would take them directly to our library catalog where they could put the book on hold. So you can see I had a lot of fun with that. If you go to our memoir, this is the one I'm in the process right now of working on it. You can see I haven't quite finished my memoirs. So it's been really great because I share the links to these different virtual libraries with our kids through Schoology, which is how we contact them. I share it with the teachers. I create videos. I create a lot of screencasts of myself talking them through these and how to do them. And that's just been great for me because a lot of times the teachers, because we're on the hybrid model, teachers have about 50% of the time per week with their students as they might normally have. And as much as, they would love to have me join their classes, it's really hard for them to find that time to let me come in anymore. And so much of what I do is through the videos, through the sound clouds, through these virtual libraries. And we get a lot of kids every morning. We've got a number of holds that we need to pull, and then I hand deliver them to their homeroom classes. And it's just been really working out great for me. I did include, you can see, it's fun to play with these Bitmoji libraries. I did go ahead and share with you my Find a Book. This has been shared with the kids since the beginning of the year. And I created a video, put it on YouTube that just shows them exactly, if they forget, how they can find things. Please help yourself, make a copy, steal what you can, what you don't need. Again, we're really super lucky up here in Lake Forest that the majority of the kids' parents have library cards. So they actually have the ability to go in and get some ebooks if they want to through Cloud Library and Hoopla. And then just one more thing I wanted to show you is that when you're creating these libraries for your kids, you don't actually have to add in images. This picture was taken a couple years ago in March when I was doing my March Book Madness. And I went ahead, I just linked that really fast for you, but I went ahead and I just put a text box here over this picture, which was my March Book Madness. And then I linked that to something else. So you can, you could link different things in your libraries or in your background. But I guess I'm talking fast and all, and I'm going to be very, very happy to answer your questions. But this has been just really a great way for me to get these books to the kids. In fact, I had a 5th grader last week when I was reminding them all how to put books on hold, say, wait, if I click this hold button, you're going to bring me like the actual book that I can hold. So I guess some of our kids are missing those physical books. And then of course, when they return them to me, we have bins out in all the hallways so they don't have to come to the library. And then we just quarantine those books for 3 days before we put them back on the shelves and get them back out to other kids. And I guess with all of that fast, rapid talking, I'm gonna stop sharing for now and happy to answer questions and go from there.
Yeah, thank you, Patty. That's great. If anybody has questions, again, please you can put them into the Q&A box. I'm gonna go back and start sharing my screen again, just so you have that. Okay, and we'll take them. As they come. One of the questions, Patty, I was going to ask of you is all of that. Okay, so all of that stuff you've done is through basically Google Slides, correct?
Yeah, all through Google Slides. Yep, adding a background and playing. You don't even need your own Bitmoji. I guess I just get a hoot out of putting myself in my libraries.
Okay, and is it so those links to the catalog? Do they that's something that you can do like really easily, right? You just like grab the URL and paste it into the image, correct?
Yeah, I can go back and share again if you want me to show that, or
No, well, yeah, no, that's okay.
okay.
But I so where do you get the images from the like from the book covers?
I actually take the images right out of my Destiny catalog. I just drag them from my catalog down onto my screen and then pop them back up in there, resize, and then link to whatever I found.
Okay. All right. And how the videos that you've done in terms of like creating, creating videos to sort of teach kids how to use like the catalog and things like that? How do you how do you create those videos?
I use Screencast,
Okay.
Screencastify, and we're a one-to-one device, and so my kids all have iPads. So what I use, I try to do everything. So if you like watch that video that I had on for the kids to check out the books and put them on hold, that's all done on iPad. So so I just in that case, I would, on the iPad, there's a place for you to just record whatever's on your screen.
Awesome. Okay, we got a question. We got actually more of a request. Can you please show how you can directly link to a specific title in Discover? I know how to link collections, but not specific titles.
Sure.
Okay,
Well,
I'm gonna stop.
all right. And I'll share real fast. All right. So here is Destiny's timed itself out. I'm going to have to change that. All right, so in Destiny Discover, once you once you find that book that you want, what's really great is right here, there is a link that says share a link to this title. They've done all the work for you in Destiny Discover. You can, I guess if you're a Google Classroom, you can export it. We're not. We use Schoology to communicate and do classes, but then you just click your copy. It's not, and then you just go back and then you link it. It's paste. It's that quick and easy that when you are in the title, you can share the link and there you go.
While you're here, can you
Ooh,
actually can you show me how to get the got to get the image? Can you show me how to get the
oh,
image from?
sure. Yeah, if I'm in it right here, I simply I just click on it, I grab it and I drag it down to my desktop and there it is. And then I'll just, for example, in my memories, which isn't, this is in a preview right now, I can't do it, but then I would just simply grab it, drag it and put it up there.
Okay.
And then that's how I would go ahead and link, but yeah, I grab it. It seems to be for me, the right, the right image size and everything.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right. I have good comment. I've just never thought about clicking and dragging the image. Thanks. Yeah. That's awesome. Other questions? Anyone else have questions for Patti? If not, we have some questions for you all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in a discussion question for you all into the chat box. And the first question is, how do you promote your titles at schools? What resources are you using? So I'm going to put this in as Q1, and if you want to answer as A1, just to kind of sort of organize the chat a little bit. How do you promote titles in your school? What resources are you using? Okay, and if you are going to answer that in the chat, just remember to use that all panelists and attendees option in the to field. If you click all panelists, it's just going to go to Patti and myself. We want everybody to be able to see your answers, to see what you're using. I'm interested if anybody else is using Bitmojis. If anybody else, I know a lot of you are out there using Google Classroom and other tools in just the Google suite of tools. So what else are you using? And while we're waiting for people to kind of answer that, Patti, so are those the main, is the main way that you were using to promote those titles is Bitmojis and videos kind of all tied together and the images, of course?
Yep, it's Bitmojis and pulling that all together, trying to find ways that, like I said, most of the time the kids come in, they grab a book, they look through it, they read the first chapter, they read the inside cover. They don't get to do that as much in Destiny Discover does not, it just gives them that nice little summary, but that's all. So trying to find as much of stuff that's already out there, whether it be a book trailer or an excerpt or I love SoundCloud. You can find so many different books in SoundCloud that it just you hear the whole first chapter on audio. And I've also every once in a while I do get to pop into the classes on their Google Meets, and and then I get to do a little bit of book talking. But as I said before, it's because our teachers see our kids only about 50% of the time they normally would. Bless their hearts, but they just don't want to give up even a minute.
Yeah, you can understand that. That's hard. Yeah, that's tough. And I'm interested in the SoundCloud thing too. I love it when you get a chance to hear authors read their own books. You get a chance to just hear interviews with authors who are doing interesting stuff. So that's cool. Okay. Let's see here. Tabitha says more newsletters sent to students and parents. Sorry, more newsletters. We also have a district book bus delivery system. Students request books from our district bus drivers delivered to their front door. Wow. Okay, that's awesome. Christina says, I use Bitmojis and also embed Destiny collections in my Power School learning class. There isn't an option in Destiny for this in Destiny, but you can create embed code easily. They look fantastic. Interesting. Okay, like that. Michelle, we are all remote still, so we have been making custom lists in Access 360 and creating Google Slide book talks with Bitmoji, book trailers, and author focus. I've been creating specific themes for the month and pushing them into classes to do book talks as much as possible. Yeah, that's great. Angela says, I've also used Bitmoji Room, Google Classroom, Screencastify videos. Students can request books on Destiny, but sadly, requests have dropped. Looking to increase interest. Yeah, Patty, what have you seen in terms of your interest?
Depending on the books and again, depending on the teachers, like we'll notice that once the teacher says, oh, and shares maybe one of those virtual libraries. For example, I had a sixth grade teacher shared the best of 2020. She didn't want to take the time to do the activity, but she just shared the virtual library with the students. And we just had a huge list, and we have lots of those books now on hold. In fact, I had to purchase duplicate copies because we had so many kids that wanted Becoming Muhammad Ali and Twins by Varian Johnson. And so I actually purchased extra. I still have quite a long hold list. Oh shoot, I was just going to say one of the other things that I was that we've done, and now I've lost it for a second. I'll come back.
Yeah, no problem. And keep those answers coming. If you all have ideas. Oh, some great answers here. We've introduced Sora, which has been fabulous. Yep. Catherine says, our school has been virtual since last March. I was finding students weren't really using our ebooks or weren't sure what to search to discover books. Similar to Patty's Bitmoji example, I've been promoting our ebooks on the library website using book cover images linked to the ebook. This way students are able to browse. I linked up about 500 new books and sorted by genre. Wow, that's a lot of work. This has been working and students finally using our ebooks. Awesome. Yeah, I guess that would be a ton of effort to do it. I mean, you don't link all of the books in your catalog, obviously. How do you choose which ones you're linking to when you do that in like a Bitmoji presentation?
So I just, for example, so I said I did the Coddle, and then it was new books, and I've got another probably 55 new books I just ordered. So I will just do that one again. Or memoirs. I know that our sixth grade teachers do memoirs, so that's why I'm a kind of memoir autobiography. So that's why I'm creating that, based on the curriculum, or just coming up with different themes. I've got, what's my next on my list is books tied to movies. Something just fun. So I've just come up with the different themes and share them. And I know what I was going to say before is I had someone ask a question of me that last week when I was talking with other librarians, and they said, why don't I use collections just for the kids to go in and look at some of the books? And there may possibly be a way, but I don't know how to link the book to that video or to that sound cloud. And so doing the Bitmoji, you can make a collection and just share that with the students in a link. But this way I can, link to some of those outside sources that really let the kids be engaged a little bit with the book to decide if it's something they're interested in.
Nice. Sharon says, I had students do virtual book blasts using Flipgrid, where they had 2 minutes to create a video to convince their peers why they should read their book of choice. I like that. That's a very fun idea. And Michelle says we've been promoting our public library resources as well as for students who prefer physical books since they are remote. Great, awesome, thank you all. Another question for you. This is Q2. What have you found that works? What doesn't work? And how do you measure success? And I'll ask this, Patty, of you, since we have you here. Have you found anything that doesn't work? It sounds like this is working for you. Have you found things that?
Actually, not so far with the little bit. I mean, oh, my Coddles, promotion has dropped off, or my participants. But no, those, if they're interested in it, the kids actually found they have to go into Destiny and put books on hold. And so that works pretty well. They also will private message me in our Schoology that we use, and just say, oh, can you get this book to me? And I'm not going to say you have to go in and put it on hold. But so far, I mean, it's worked. Is my count way down? Absolutely. Kids picking out independent books, it's dropped way down. But I'm going to keep pushing, keep playing.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
like the idea you had mentioned with someone before, is that's one I haven't tried yet, is using Flipgrid, have the kids do their own book review and then share that out. So it's, kids recommending other books to kids. I haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, that does sound fun, and probably a lot of work in terms of how to teach kids to use Flipgrid and get them set up for that. But yeah, I mean, and then that's also the problem is a lot of the stuff we're doing for the first time this year, right? And we're trying things we've never tried before. Not all of them are going to work, but you have to kind of do something. Michelle says we had a difficult time with book club. We tried to all read the same thing, but getting books was rough. Yeah, we decided to do themes each month, and it's been a lot easier. Yeah, I've heard people say that as well. That you just getting as many titles as you could possibly get is a challenge. And then Sharon says Flipgrid super easy, user friendly. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I've never used Flipgrid before, but let's see here. If they have access to public library, Hoopla is great. You can get as many copies as you need. Yeah, Hoopla is wonderful in that regard. The problem is not every library has Hoopla, and I know the pricing model for Hoopla is pretty restrictive for a lot of libraries to be able to have it, because I believe it is one book or unlimited synchronous usage, so as many patrons can read the same book at the same time as possible. So that's a great thing, but the publishers don't always love that, so that could be hard. Michelle says I think it's difficult to get students to choose to read books right now, at least in high school, because there's so many other things going on, and our classes are not reading novels this year. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of challenges out there, right? And this is this is a particularly challenging year. So is anyone have any things that have gone just gangbusters for them in terms of working and finding purchase within students who are using them? I do like that idea of using Hoopla through the public library. Patty, anything that you've heard that other libraries are doing, or other librarians that has worked really well, or not?
Well, it's more on individual, is the like the smaller book clubs, that the virtual book clubs that some of the librarians are hosting, and they're able to either get the books in the kids' hands because it's smaller. And some of them they are doing, as I can't remember who had put it up before, doing themes rather than one book for the whole kid. Michelle had said. So that's what we've found, is that some people are just doing those smaller book clubs. And sometimes if 3 or 4 kids are in your book club and are reading, that's a success. But I found a lot of my students, even books, when their teachers have requested them or required them to have certain books. We do book clubs here in our ELA classes, the Lucy Calkins, some of you might be familiar with that. And they all are like 3 or 4 of the kids are reading the same title. And again, being the district that we are, many of the kids won't check out the book from me. They'll find it, their parents will buy it. So, but that's again being a different type of community than many in Illinois.
Yeah, do you find that your kids use on like ebooks, like reading ebooks, like audiobooks?
We don't. We have very few we have very few ebooks here. We've purchased some before, we've tried, and if the kids are doing it, they are either getting it through the public library, which we have a really a nice relationship with our Lake Forest Public Library. Like I said, the Sound Cloud Library and the Hoopla. But as far as ever having them here within our own school, the ebooks have never gone out. And again, some of it might be our community because their parents can get them an Audible account, and a lot of the kids have that themselves. We do use oh gosh, what is the name of it again? For our special ed students, we use Reading Ally.
Hmm.
So our Reading Ally is a subscription, and it allows our kids they have specific codes. Again, it's more geared toward our special ed students. They can read the book on their device, and again, we are one-to-one with iPads, um, and so that allows them to read that way.
Yeah. Some great comments here. Angela says, I do like allowing students to add comments within Google Classroom. Each week I post screencastify lessons videos. I just ask kids to comment. We can get a little conversation going about books and reading, etc. Yeah, that's a great idea. Tabitha says, I think a lot of kids open ebooks and read them and don't check them out as well. That impacts our statistics. Reading Ally is great. Yeah, good. Okay. That's a good suggestion. Interesting, the comment about opening ebooks and read them, but don't check them out as well. I guess that must be through Destiny. That must be ebooks checked. That must be ebooks that you can access directly through Destiny. Yeah, good. Okay, all right, that makes sense. Okay, all right. Great. I appreciate all the answers. Okay, I'm gonna put in another one. Um, how are students receiving books in your, and this is, and for some of you this is only ebooks because you're all remote, um, in your school or district. How do they check them out? Okay. uh how are students receiving books in your school districts? How do they check them out? I had to check my own grammar on that one. So for some of you, and Patty, can you just kind of repeat? I know you've already covered it, but kind of repeat your process.
Right. So our kids, we either see kids in the morning, and then the other half of kids we see in the afternoon. They're in one homeroom. They stay in a room. So if they put it on hold or request it, I hand deliver to the classes. Of course, we do the cleaning the hands and wearing our gloves when I deliver the books. And then I went ahead and we checked them out ahead of time. We put blue tape on the front with the student's name on it, so there's no question of that's my book or someone mixed up a book. And then we actually our district allowed us to purchase these great big, I don't even know the size of them, huge plastic bins, from, I guess we got them from Home Depot or something, but they're on wheels on one side and a handle. And then I have them spread throughout the halls upstairs and downstairs. And when kids return books, they just dump them in that bin. And then I bring the bin back here, and the book's quarantined for a few days. And then we check in and we empty out. So that may be something I keep, so that, because if kids can just return books closer to their classroom and locker, there's probably a better chance we'll get it. And then for our kids who are virtual, who are all virtual from home, we do the same thing. We get the books ready for them, and then in our front vestibule, there's a table, and the parents can just come in, just go in as far as the vestibule. They find the book with their student's name on it, and then there's a book return there for them.
Okay. All right. I want to go back to a comment from Sharon. She says, we're hybrid, some groups fully remote, some groups Tuesday through Friday, Friday, balance of Monday, Thursday. I see every kid in grades 4 through 8 every Wednesday for 30-minute block. I have to provide ebooks via ERead Illinois, Epic, and Sora, as well as BiblioBoard. And I'm delivering print books using Book Hub orders to the classrooms, leave them outside the door for them to take home. I also do curbside delivery to our remote Learners. Wow, Sharon, how do you find the time? Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot, but it sounds like it's working, which is great. Um, Christine says we deliver to students in English classes. We have several book returns throughout the high school. I really like the blue painter tape. Okay, yeah, that's a nice little trick right there.
We actually learned that several years ago because we also check out math books as well as, like I said, our book club books through the library. And when every student has the exact same math book, and it's a math program, so like every 6 weeks they're getting a new math book, they're like, well, I don't know where mine is. So we immediately started doing that with the blue tape and the Sharpie. And when they're here, we hand them the book with the blue tape on it, and they write their name on with the Sharpie, and then we do it, now that we're delivering. But let me tell you, for these, especially for our fifth graders, it's it's really good for helping them keep track of their books.
Also, Veronica says Pembroke Library hands out book bundles and crafts to parents. That's great. Thank you. Sharon wanted to clarify, every student is virtually from me on Wednesday, not in person on Wednesday in our school as of yet. Okay, great.
Be interested in, I know that some of our elementary teachers, because we have 3K4 buildings and then we're the 5-8, is I know that some of them, they'll just kind of pick a few books to pull together for the students. I'd be interested if anyone has done that where, like Veronica just said, the book bundles. Do you guys have anyone just say, students say, I'm interested in animals, and you just create some on your own?
Oh, curation.
That
I like that.
I mean, I would find that hard, but maybe some of you guys have done that.
Yeah, who's doing curation? Who's curating their titles and putting together book bundles? That I think that's a wonderful idea, and kind of really goes to the heart of just well, letting us as information professionals, right, choose titles that we think that kids would like, and and then putting them in their hands.
That would be true reader's advisory.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Yeah, I wonder how some of that would go. I wonder if kids would embrace that or not. Sharon says yes. That's some of our book club orders. Kids can select specific titles or provide favorite author or subjects they enjoy. Yeah, that's true. That you could really hinge that around. Again, yeah, you're right. Specific titles, favorite author, subjects they might enjoy. Janelle says we offer that at our library, but we see more interaction with pre-K kindergarten. Tabitha says we would love to do book bundles, but are struggling to get books back from last year still. Sure. Yep. Small victories. Every little victory. Angela says K through 2, I check out a creative books the entire class. Teachers let kids look with their eyes and choose. Sometimes it's on a theme, sometimes not. Grade 3 through 5 destiny. Yeah, that's a great approach. I think you really need to kind of make it appropriate for the level for sure. Sharon says kids are super honest. They let me know when selection bombs. Yeah, kids have a habit of doing that, don't they?
Yeah, and I know that our librarian on the 7-8 side, he just know those kids that he does know, he actually just takes and brings books to them, even if they didn't ask for a book bundle. He'll just pick, and he said, I want you to try to read this. I don't know how well it goes over. I don't know how much they're reading, but he's just handing it out to them.
Yeah, you gotta try. I mean, you gotta try something. You gotta do it. Yeah, that's great. That is great. Awesome. Okay. This kind of goes a little bit to the last topic here, or what Patti was mentioning is what sort of things are if in an ideal world where you had all the time in the world and you had unlimited resources, what sort of promotional activities would you like to try? What are some things that are on your radar, maybe for next year, maybe for down the line? What are you looking to adapt, or how are you looking to adapt your library? So that is question 4. Patti, is there anything that you have seen or heard of that you would like to try down the line?
Well, I think that we all saw, or maybe many seen the Starbucks, where you turn your library into a Starbucks cafe. And that was kind of my idea with my best books, is just giving the chance to want the kids that will wander from table to table, a little bit of time at each. They are responsible for jotting down a couple titles that they'd be interested in. But just getting them in more. I would love to try something more fun. I have never done the Starbucks cafe. I'm not sure I'm bold enough to like serve them hot cocoa or something in the library. But yeah, something more that's just got that little edge with it. It's fun. But I know there's
Atmospheric.
tons of more ideas out there.
I don't know how I did that. Sorry. Okay, let me go back to sharing my screen. Somehow I closed my. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, and while I was messing up my PowerPoint, Sharon said more author visits. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I like that. Randy says, I'm a public librarian and I hosted a Starbucks cafe with Starbucks cafe with 4th and 5th graders last year. It was super fun. Oh, I hosted at elementary schools. Okay. Yep. Thank you, Randy. I had never heard of the Starbucks cafe idea, but I like it. Kind of capturing that atmospheric, part of it. Michelle says, we have been promoting on social media, but would like to do more Instagram, YouTube book talks, etc. Yeah, there's so much out there in terms of YouTube book talking and Instagram influencers, but I don't always know how much it would, how to sort of cleanly incorporate it into school libraries.
Yeah, and we have to be, mindful of, the younger ones. It's like,
Yeah.
well, technically they're not old enough to have Instagram accounts, though we know many do. So I have a Twitter account for my library, but it's more like parents following.
Yeah.
So again, with my age level, we can't push that social media aspect.
Yeah.
But again, the promoting I had mentioned before that someone had mentioned, I really want to try the Flipgrid with the kids doing their own 30-second, 45-second book talk to promote to others.
Yeah. And yeah, getting kids to kind of explain why they liked a book, talk about the book. You could see that being a real game changer just in terms of spreading the excitement behind a book, and we all know that kids will talk about books to their peers and things like that. So it's great when that kind of spreads a little bit. So yeah, Flipgrid was a tool that I think that other people I think had mentioned, and I've heard at other events before. What else? What are other people using it or looking for or trying out? Is there any resources or products that you are hoping to add that would kind of help you do promotion or move titles in your libraries?
I think another one that, again, it goes back to us because we have the iPads, but our kids are really good at using Clips. Clips is an app that allows them to make short videos with pictures and text and things. And that would be another fun thing is not just a Flipgrid of them talking, but actually creating like their own little book trailers.
Yeah. Maybe some kind of competition, some kind of contest or something like that. That could be good. Sharon says Padlet and Wakelet. Yep, I've heard of those before, and I do know that is kind of popular. Okay, I'm gonna put it in my last because since we're kind of answers are drying up a little bit here. Okay, we got Tabitha. There's a great lesson for successful book talks using the heat strategy. I did that with kids before they made Flipgrid videos. Very worthwhile to help the kids' success. Tabitha, tell us more about the heat strategy. I know that requires you typing more, but we'll wait for you. Meanwhile, I'm going to type in the next question. The last question is, what else? What are other ways? What are other non-technical or non-technology ways to promote books during the pandemic?
I want to hear the answer to that question.
So make sure I'm not missing anything. And if you still have an answer to that question for what sort of promotional activities would you like to try, please feel free to put in an answer to that. Any of the questions that we've answered below, you can just put in the A and then the number to the question and answer them there. Looks like we have about 9 minutes left. So if you have any, oh, that's great. Okay, so Tabitha put in a link to bring heat to your book talks. Okay, thank you for sharing that. We really appreciate it. Jennifer says we put a selected list of our new books in our monthly newsletter before. We don't have it now since we need the space for all updates, but hoping to get back to it soon. Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate that. I suppose is anybody doing like mailed newsletters to parents? Is that maybe that's crazy in these days?
We haven't done mailed newsletters to parents in I don't know how long. It's our Friday flyer goes out via email. So
okay. Oh, okay. So you send that out once a week?
yeah, well, I mean, it comes from our school, and if I want to
Okay.
add something to it, I could. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. S'more newsletters. Do you know what S'more's newsletters are, Patty?
I do, yeah. I was using the some more website, and it's kind of like using Canvas, and the idea is it's just giving you a really nice graphic
Okay.
To get those newsletters. And then what's nice about that is that I mean, it is printable, PDF and printable, or it can just be a link that you share for people to access.
Like micro newsletters, sort of. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Tabitha's right. They're nice, and they're like Canva. They're really, the graphics are really nice.
Awesome. Yeah. And this, this is a good time, and I will say, I make sure to save the chat. If you have links to resources that you are using or want to use or want to know more about, or links to articles about this topic, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll save the chat. I will attach it to this presentation, and we can share it on the IL email list so that you all have a chance to see it. Angel says, I do have a weekly Google Meet for my elementary kids. Sometimes I simply preview a few new books or read one or two live. Yeah, that's great. It's great. Also, I will also, that's tech. That's okay. That's okay. It's still, it's still. I will also offer any last questions for Patty before we close out here in a little bit.
Be careful going down that rabbit hole, making those virtual libraries. Like I said, I had way too much fun. But if you want to try any of those virtual libraries to try to get, opportunities for your kids to engage with the books before they request them, email me, please. I'm happy to answer any questions with that.
Yeah, great. Okay. Well, I think we're coming to the end here. So I'm going to say thank you so much to Patty for presenting tonight and giving us just a brief look into what you are doing in your own library. Thank you to everyone that participated and shared ideas. I mean, this is what this is all about, just being able to kind of go around and see what's happening in other libraries. That's a huge part of just connecting all the people across Rails territory and in schools in Illinois. So thank you to everyone for coming. Again, this is being recorded, and you'll get an email about it in probably about 24 hours with a link to the YouTube page. And again, I will save the chat, and I'll make sure to share that on the IL email list. So thank you all. Have a nice night and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you everybody who attended.